Welcome to Congress in Context. We're your shortcut to understanding what's really happening on Capitol Hill.
We dig into the official records, the research, all the notes to pull out what you need to know.
Yeah, giving you the insights, maybe a few surprising facts, and hopefully keeping it engaging.
Exactly.
Today we're diving deep into Friday, August 29, 2025. Now look, August 29th, it might seem like a quiet day. Pretty standard.
On the surface, maybe, but when you unpack it, you really see the gears of the 119th Congress turning.
Right. Our mission here is to make sense of all that activity, figure out the implications, and just give you the context that, well, actually matters.
And our main source today is the Congressional Record for August 29th that covers the House, the Senate, and importantly, the extensions of remarks.
Oh yes, the extensions. That's often where you find some fascinating stuff, right? Beyond just the formal votes.
Definitely. Member recognitions, deeper dives on issues, constituent concerns, it adds a lot of color.
Okay, so let's start with what looked like, well, almost nothing happening on Capitol Hill that day. The House proceedings were, almost comically short.
Yeah, sure.
They met at 1:30 p.m., adjourned at 1:31 p.m. 1 minute.
1 minute. Wow.
Yep. Designated Mr. Moore of West Virginia as Speaker pro tempore, had the prayer, the Pledge of Allegiance. That was it. Done.
And the Senate wasn't much busier. They had a pro forma session, met at 7 Benefa 0.02 in the morning.
Okay.
Adjourned just 30 seconds later, 7 Benevolent 0000.32 a.m.
30 seconds. That's, barely time to blink. What is actually going on there? Why so brief? Is it just ticking a box?
Well, it seems like just ticking a box, but these super short pro forma sessions are actually a key legislative tool, especially when Congress is technically out for recess.
A tool for what, though?
Okay, a couple critical things. One, it prevents the president from making recess appointments, because technically the Senate is still in session, even for 30 seconds.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. Blocking mechanism.
Yeah, exactly. And two, it allows them to do basic administrative things, like formally introducing bills, receiving communications from the president or agencies. They don't need everyone there. No quorum, no debate.
So the wheels keep turning, even if nobody's really there debating policy.
Precisely. It looks quiet, but it's actually, a strategic holding pattern. They're getting ready for the next active legislative period.
That clarifies the strategy bit. Are there any, downsides to doing it this way, or is it just standard operating procedure?
It's pretty standard. The main downside, maybe, is just how it looks to the public, like Congress isn't working.
Right. Why aren't they doing anything?
Yeah, but for the actual process, it lets committee staff keep working, lets members connect with constituents back home, and keeps the information flowing into the system. It's kind of a necessary part of the rhythm of the legislative year.
Okay, so even in that holding pattern, some important stuff did come through. Executive communications, connecting the White House to Congress.
Yeah, definitely. Like EC 1793, that was a communication from the president reporting 15 rescissions of budget authority.
Rescissions. Remind us what that means exactly.
It means taking back money that Congress already appropriated for something. In this case, it totaled $4.9 billion.
Wow, $4.9 billion. That's not pocket change. Where did that go? Which committee?
That got referred to the Committee on Appropriations, naturally. And you're right, it's a big deal. It's basically the president saying, we're changing priorities on money you already allocated.
So it forces Congress to look at it again.
It absolutely does. They have to decide whether to accept the president's change or push back. It's a real power play on fiscal priorities.
Interesting. And it wasn't just big money moves. There was also EC 1800. That was HHS, Health and Human Services, notifying Congress about a public health emergency.
Right. Declared back on July 2nd in Texas, that went to the Committee on Energy and Commerce.
And while that's obviously crucial information, it does sort of highlight how some of these communications are more reactive, right, telling Congress after the fact.
Well, yes and no. The declaration itself is the immediate action, unlocking federal help for Texas. That's vital for the people affected.
Sure.
But notifying Congress is also key. It keeps them in the loop for potential oversight, or if more funding is needed down the line, it's part of that federal-state crisis response system.
Got it. And then there was worker-related news, too.
Yep. EC 1806. The president sent over an alternative plan for pay adjustments for civilian federal employees. That's for January 2026.
Okay, that affects a huge number of people. Which committee handles that?
That went to Oversight and Government Reform. And yeah, federal pay is always a discussion, balancing the budget versus, keeping skilled people in government jobs.
So this communication basically kicks off that whole negotiation process between the White House and Congress for next year's pay.
Pretty much. It signals the president's opening position.
And beyond those specific items, there was just this like constant background hum of government business. Right. Lots of stuff from the Department of Defense.
Oh, yeah. Multiple legislative proposals for armed services, foreign affairs committees, plus reports from Treasury and State on ongoing national emergencies, things related to the International Criminal Court, Burma, Ethiopia.
So even on a 30-second Senate day, that flow of information, the oversight requests, the collaboration, it just keeps going.
It has to. It shows that defense, foreign policy, national security, these are always on the congressional radar, day in, day out.
Okay, so despite the brief sessions, new legislation was still being introduced, planting seeds for future debates. And this is where, gets pretty interesting for anyone watching Congress.
Absolutely. And we saw a real theme around government transparency and accountability emerge on the 29th.
How so?
Well, first, H.R. 5060, this was from Mr. Bridgett. It's designed to give whistleblower protections to federal employees or contractors who disclose government spending on researching or evaluating UAPs.
UAPs, unidentified anomalous phenomena, the whole UFO discussion. That definitely taps into public curiosity.
Massively. It's about transparency on where taxpayer money is going, especially on something so intriguing, and protecting those who speak out.
And related to transparency, but in a different area, there was HRS 665 from Mrs. Luna.
Right. That resolution is about moving forward with considering H.R. 1908. And H.R. 1908 is the bill that would ban members of Congress, their spouses, and dependent kids from trading stocks.
Ah, the stock trading ban. That keeps coming up.
It does. It directly tackles those concerns about potential conflicts of interest. Members having inside knowledge while trading. It's a recurring theme, reflecting that public push for more trust and accountability.
Okay, shifting gears a bit to public safety. H.R. 5062, introduced by Mrs. Johnson of Texas. This one's about pipelines.
Yeah, specifically, it aims to codify, to put into law the TSA's responsibility for securing pipelines against cyber threats and terrorism.
Codify, why is that word important? Doesn't TSA already kind of do that?
Good question. Codifying makes it a solid legal requirement, not just something based on current policy or an executive order that could change. It establishes a more permanent, legally binding framework.
Especially important given how vital pipelines are.
Hugely important. Disruptions to energy pipelines can cause chaos economically, security-wise. This bill recognizes that vulnerability and wants a stronger, lasting solution.
Okay, now on a much more contentious area of public safety, H.R. 5066 was introduced by Mr. Massey.
Right. That bill proposes to repeal the Gun-Free School Zones Act of 1990.
Repeal it entirely.
Yes. This represents one specific viewpoint in that very large, very heated debate over gun control. Introducing it signals a desire from some in Congress to revisit those federal laws about guns near schools.
That's definitely one that will spark a lot of debate if it moves forward.
Oh, absolutely. Significant scrutiny for sure.
And then there was a really big complex bill, H.R. 5068, from Mr. Nadler. This one's about cannabis.
Yeah, this is a major one. It aims to decriminalize and deschedule cannabis at the federal level.
Decriminalize and deschedule. What else?
It also includes provisions for reinvestment in communities hit hardest by the war on drugs and for expunging certain past cannabis offenses.
That sounds like it covers a lot of ground. How many committees did that get sent to?
9.
9 committees.
That alone tells you how wide-ranging and complex this is. It hits criminal justice, health, agriculture, banking, economic opportunity, you name it.
It's proposing a massive shift in federal drug policy.
A fundamental shift, really, reflecting how public opinion and state laws have been changing. And those reinvestment and expungement parts, they're key to addressing the historical impact, the social justice angle.
Right. Makes sense. And there was another bill touching on kids' well-being.
Yes, H.R. 5074 from Mr. Steele. This one directs the Center for Mental Health Services to develop a strategy on how new technologies are affecting children's mental health.
So acknowledging the impact of social media, screen time, all that.
Exactly. It's a growing concern, and this bill asks for a formal government strategy to address it.
Okay, let's connect some dots now. You mentioned the extensions of remarks earlier. Mrs. Norton used that section to add context to a bill she introduced, right?
Yes. H.R. 5070, the Federal Police Camera and Accountability Act of 2025, which she introduced with Mr. Byer. Her remarks provide really valuable background.
What did she highlight?
Well, she pointed out that the House actually passed a version of this before as part of the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, so it's not a brand new idea. It has history.
Okay.
She also brought up the tragic case of Bijan Gaizar from 2017. He was killed by park police, federal officers who didn't have body cams. It was local police footage that provided crucial evidence.
Underscoring the need for cameras on federal officers, too.
Exactly, especially because federal police, like Park Police or Secret Service Uniform Division, have significant power, particularly in places like Washington, D.C. She also noted the sort of back and forth on body cam executive orders between the Biden and Trump administrations.
So her remarks really paint a picture of this long, ongoing push for more oversight and transparency in federal policing.
Precisely. It shows how past events and policy debates build momentum for current legislation.
It's a great example of context. Now, shifting from domestic policy to global security, August 29th was also the International Day Against Nuclear Tests.
A really important day of remembrance, the 15th annual one, and both Mr. Garamendi and Ms. Titus used their extensions of remarks to talk about this.
What were the key takeaways there?
They both stress the devastating human cost of nuclear testing, not just Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but also the downwinders right here in the U.S., people made sick by radioactive fallout from testing sites in Nevada and elsewhere.
And they mentioned RECE.
Right, the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act. They noted it was recently extended and expanded, trying to provide some measure of justice for those victims.
But the focus wasn't just on the U.S., was it? Kazakhstan played a big role in their remarks.
A huge role. And it's a remarkable story. When the Soviet Union collapsed, Kazakhstan suddenly had the world's fourth largest nuclear arsenal on its soil. And the main Soviet test site, Semipalatinsk, was there. They conducted 456 nuclear tests at that site. The cumulative power was something like 2,500 times the Hiroshima bomb. Just devastating environmental and health impacts.
Unimaginable.
Yeah.
So what did Kazakhstan do?
They made an incredible decision. In 1991, they shut down the Semipalatinsk test site. And then they voluntarily gave up all the nuclear weapons they inherited.
Voluntarily gave them up.
Yes, a profound act for global security. They signed all the key treaties, START I, joined the nuclear watchdog IAEA, the Non-Proliferation Treaty, the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty.
And they worked with the U.S. on this.
They did. Through the Nunn-Leaguer Program Cooperative Threat Reduction, the U.S. helped them safely dismantle infrastructure and even remove over 1,300 pounds of highly enriched uranium from a facility there.
That's amazing cooperation.
It really is. And both Garamendi and Titus argued that Kazakhstan's example is more relevant than ever today, with arms control agreements fraying and new nuclear dangers emerging. It's a call for renewed commitment to non-proliferation.
A powerful history lesson with direct relevance now. It shows how these seemingly symbolic days connect to real-world policy and diplomacy.
And absolutely.
And beyond these big policy debates, the extension section really brings Congress down to a human level too, doesn't it?
It really does. You get these wonderful moments of recognition for people back in the members' districts.
Like what? Any examples that stood out?
Oh, several. Mrs. McLean honored a farmer, Thomas Durand, inducted into the Michigan Farmers Hall of Fame for his lifelong work in advocacy.
Nice.
Mr. Thompson celebrated the 90th birthday of Doris Haywood-Bridgett, one of the first African-American business owners in Shelby, Mississippi, a real community pillar.
That's fantastic.
Mr. Castro celebrated Colonel Bill Barnes turning 105. A WWII vet, 28 years in the Air Force JAG Corps. Incredible life.
105, amazing.
Then there was Mr. Carson honoring the 100th anniversary of a neighborhood parade in Indianapolis, highlighting community spirit. Mrs. McLean congratulated a company, Saba, opening its North American headquarters in Michigan, bringing investment.
So local economies, community history.
Exactly. And Mr. Thompson honored a gospel music legend from the Mississippi Mass Choir, Mosey Mama Burks. Mr. Garamendi honored a retiring city manager in Pittsburgh, California for decades of service and development projects.
It really shows the breadth of what Congress touches, doesn't it? From global security to local heroes.
It really does. It reminds you that these representatives are connected to specific places and people. It shows that Congress is, yes, a place for national policy, but it's also a reflection of communities across the country.
Okay, let's look ahead what's coming up. The Senate adjourned, but not for long.
Right. They're back Tuesday, September 2nd at 3 p.m., and it's not just another quick in-and-out session.
What's on the dock?
A big one. They're scheduled to resume consideration of the motion to proceed to S-2296. That's the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA.
The defense funding bill. Always huge.
Always. And crucially, there's a vote scheduled around 5:30 p.m. on the motion to invoke cloture on proceeding to the bill.
Cloture, meaning a vote to limit debate and move forward.
Exactly. It's a key procedural hurdle, passing cloture signals that leadership wants to advance the NDAA. So that vote on Tuesday is definitely one to watch closely. It tells us if they can overcome potential filibusters and get to debating the actual substance of the defense bill.
Okay, so a major bill facing a critical step. And what about all those new bills introduced on the 29th? The cannabis one, the UAP one, pipeline security, the gun zones repeal, vaccine exemptions.
Their journey is just beginning. They've been introduced, referred to committees. Now starts the long process: potential hearings, markups where they amend the bill, committee votes,
In weeks, months, potentially.
or longer. Many bills never make it out of committee. But their introduction puts these issues officially on the agenda. It sets the stage for future debate, potential policy shifts down the road.
And those executive communications, like the budget rescissions, the federal pay plan.
Those will continue to be points of discussion, oversight, maybe negotiation between Congress and the White House. It reflects that constant push and pull between the branches.
So this single day, August 29th, really gives us a snapshot of Congress juggling a massive range of issues.
Absolutely. National security, public health, the economy, social justice, basic government accountability. It reflects the sheer diversity of challenges and priorities facing the country.
For those of you listening who want to dig deeper, maybe look at H.R. 50068 on cannabis or H.R. 5062 on pipeline security.
Congress.gov is your friend. You can find the full text of the bills, see which committees they went to, track their status. It's all there.
And we always encourage you. Find out who your representatives are. Let them know what you think about these issues. Your voice matters in this process.
And maybe even browse the extensions of remarks sometime. You learn a lot about local achievements, community heroes, the things your member of Congress is championing beyond the big headlines. It connects policy back to people.
So keep an eye on Tuesday, September 2nd. That Senate cloture vote on the NDAA X2296 is significant.
And remember, participating in democracy isn't just about Election Day. Engaging with local groups, advocating on issues you care about, whether it's nuclear disarmament or local parks, that's all part of it too.
So here's something to think about. If August 29th, a day that looked quiet on the surface, actually revealed all this urgent security debates, controversial social reforms, deep community ties, what does that tell you about the sort of unseen currents always flowing through Congress? And how might these signals we picked up today, from pipeline security to UAP transparency, actually impact your own community, your daily life, maybe in ways that aren't immediately obvious? We hope this deep dive gave you a clearer picture and maybe sparked some curiosity to keep exploring.